All right, clase, for this section of your paquetes, you'll be filling out la página 3, page 3 of your notes titled Observa uno, Escuelas Diferentes. The topic is gender of nouns. So the page you should have out looks like this, Observa uno. Like I said, that's page 3. So as I go through the notes, go ahead and fill in the blanks with what you see on the slides, and then you guys will have a chance to practice, okay? So in this section here. So in Observa Uno, we'll be talking about masculine and feminine nouns. All right, now first, before I do that, think about what a noun is in English, right? Something we all learned a long time ago. What is a noun in English? Right, it's a person, place, or thing. So in English, we have the bottle, the book, the computer, for example, but the is just the. It doesn't change in gender, right? The is the same regardless of the noun, right? However, that is not the case in Spanish, okay? And so let's talk about what that looks like. So in Espanol, nouns have a gender. So that'll be your first blank. Go ahead and write that in. Nouns have a gender, either masculine or feminine. Okay. So for example, el bolígrafo, that would be a masculine noun. For example, la profesora, feminine noun. Okay. So these el and la are known as articles in Spanish. So in English, an article would be the. In Spanish, the is el or la. So go ahead and write that in. El or la equals the. So the general rule that you've probably learned before is that nouns that end in O are typically masculine. 90% of the time, 95%. So nouns that end in O are masculine, as evidenced by the one up here, el bolígrafo. Okay. On the other hand, nouns that end in A are typically feminine, like la profesora, for example. So ends in O, masculine, ends in A, feminine. There are exceptions, however. This rule doesn't always apply, and there's a few exceptions. Okay, so these are already on your paper, so no need to write these down, but look at the examples here. El día ends in A, but it is not la día, it's el día. And you can see the other ones. El lápiz, el agua, la mano, la radio, la foto. Okay, so generally for exceptions, the best way to remember them is to memorize them as exceptions. So there's no real trick other than you have to memorize. So when you guys are learning nouns like the ones in your vocab list right now, el lápiz, la calculadora, el libro, right? Don't just memorize libro as book, you have to memorize it as el libro because you memorize the article that goes along with it, okay? So for exception ones like el lápiz, right? Based on the ending, it should be feminine, but it is el lápiz, okay? So just memorize those as exceptions. All right, there's another video I'll probably show you guys in class here. There is a trick, though, that I find helpful in helping you determine which nouns are masculine and feminine. So if it does not end in O or A, but ends in one of these other combinations, this rule will help you, okay? So words ending in D, ion, Z, and A are usually feminine. Okay, so write those in. D, ion, Z, and A are usually feminine. Okay, so the acronym for this is known as DIANZA. DIANZA. So the A one you already had, but now we're adding these three others. DIANZA. Okay, so for example, la ciudad, ending in D. La estación, okay, ending in ion. Nariz, ending in Z. It's feminine, la nariz. And finally, hopefully my face isn't blocking this one. I don't know. La carpeta, ending in A, is a feminine. Okay, so DIANZA for feminine nouns. All right, and then we got our masculine nouns. So if it does not end in O, but ends in one of these other letters, generally they are masculine. So here is the acronym for that one, okay? We've got words that end in L, O, N, E, R, or S are usually masculine. So L-O-N-A-R-S-A are usually masculine. Write those in. And the acronym for that one is loners. Loners. So let's look at a few examples here. Okay. The letters highlighted at the end, so starting with ending in L. Okay, so we got el papel, el cuaderno, el jardín, el pupitre, el profesor, and el mes. Okay, so some of these words we've learned, some you haven't, but you can figure out the article based on the ending. Okay? So these are what's known as definite articles in Espanol. Okay, so sorry to pause it for a second. So we have el and la, masculine and feminine. Now, what you're seeing on the right-hand side is the plural counterpart of that, okay? So we have el and la for singular nouns, and then los and las for plural nouns. So I try to color code those, okay? So you can kind of see in the chart how they, where they fit, okay? So singular masculine, plural masculine. Singular feminine, plural feminine. Please remember this rule in Spanish forever and ever. All nouns and articles must match in gender and number, okay? So if you look at the examples here, we've got el banco, one bank. Two banks, we've got los bancos. That's how you make things plural to match, okay? La silla, one chair, or one seat. Las sillas, plural seats. Let's look at another example here. We've got el papel, one paper. Los papeles, more than one paper. La ciudad, city. Multiple cities, las ciudades. Okay, so typically to make a noun plural, you just add s, but if it ends in a consonant like this, you add es. So notice how the article and the noun match. Okay, you wouldn't say las ciudades, you wouldn't say el papeles, right? It has to match, okay? All right, so take a moment to pause the video and go ahead and see if you can identify the article for each of these. Even if you don't know what the noun means, use the rules I just told you and see if you can write the article for each of those nouns. Just choose a blank spot in your notes right there. On the margin is fine, or even on the back side. This is just for practice. So go ahead and pause and see if you can come up with those. Okay? Yeah, so just go ahead and do these in a blank spot on your notes, guys. And then next class, we'll probably start with this. I'll ask you to read for me the article and the noun that you came up with based on the ending. Okay, so go ahead and do that there on your notes. The other thing I'm going to have you do after you finish this video, I'm going to have you watch the Observa video for this section. It's here in Wayside and assignments. Okay, so go ahead and watch that. Looks like this, gender of nouns and articles. And when you watch that, you will use it to fill out the chart on page 4 here. Okay, so page 4, gender of nouns and articles, it's going to give you some notes for each one and an example of each. So just fill out as much as you can. So in a video, when it refers to your graphic organizer, that's what it means, page 4. Okay, so go ahead and complete both of those, pages 3 and 4, and you'll submit those to me via my MHS when you are finished. Okay, so we'll go ahead and practice this more next class. All right, gracias.